She said, "You can't come to my birthday party. It's just the girls." Then I saw her tagged in a photo sitting on a guy's lap. So I showed up anyway, with a gift she'll never forget. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I used to think Sophie and I were one of those couples people looked at and said, yeah, they just work. We'd been together a little over 2 years, met in one of those cliché coffee shop situations. I was the guy buried in my laptop, trying to finish a freelance project, and she was the girl who couldn't decide between a cappuccino and a flat white. I made a dumb joke about how she should flip a coin for it. She laughed. Somehow, that led to a 3-hour conversation about everything from travel dreams to why she always wears mismatched socks. That was Sophie. Funny, magnetic, the kind of person who walks into a room and makes the air shift a little. She wasn't the type you could ignore. Everyone noticed her, and she liked being noticed. I didn't mind. I actually loved that about her in the beginning. She made life feel bigger, louder, brighter. We weren't perfect, of course. I'm more on the quiet side, the type who likes staying in, cooking, maybe watching something together. Sophie's a social butterfly. There was always a party, always a dinner, always a friend of a friend who just had to meet her. I used to joke that I dated an event calendar with legs. She'd laugh, kiss me on the cheek, and tell me I needed to get out of my comfort zone more. And she wasn't wrong. When she dragged me to her office Christmas party last year, I ended up having a blast. When she planned a random road trip to the mountains, I went along, and it turned into one of the best weekends of my life. She made me loosen up. I made her slow down. We balanced each other. At least, that's what I thought. Her birthday was coming up. She'd be turning 27, and I had been planning something special for weeks. A dinner reservation at her favorite place, a small surprise gift, even talked to one of her friends about getting her a cake shaped like her cat. But then, out of nowhere, Sophie mentioned she didn't want me to plan anything this year. She said, "I'm just gonna do a girls-only night this time. Nothing big, just me and the girls hanging out. You don't have to worry about it, babe." I remember I laughed and said, "All right, fair enough. You deserve to relax with your friends." She smiled and kissed me, said I was the best boyfriend ever. And maybe that should have been the first red flag, the way she said it, a little too quickly, like she needed to sell me on it. But I didn't think much of it. I was just happy she seemed happy. Looking back now, I can pinpoint the exact moment the ground started shifting under my feet. It was when she added, with this sweet little grin, "Promise you won't be clingy about it?" I laughed. Clingy? Me? I trusted her. I wasn't the type to scroll through her messages or track her location. So I just said, "Of course not. Have fun, babe." That was the night I learned that sometimes trust doesn't get broken all at once. It starts with a sentence that sounds harmless and ends with a photo you'll never forget. At first, I didn't think much about the whole girls-only birthday thing. She had her own life, her own circle of friends, and I respected that. Sophie was the kind of person who got energy from being around people. Laughter, music, clinking glasses, all that chaos she called vibes. But as her birthday got closer, something about her energy started to shift. Normally, she'd be buzzing about it, sending me outfit options, complaining about what shoes didn't match what, or asking me to help her pick a place to eat after. This time, nothing. Just vague comments like, "Oh, it's not a big deal this year." That alone was weird. Sophie made everything a big deal. She could turn a random Tuesday coffee into a mini celebration. A week before her birthday, I casually asked where she and the girls were going. She looked up from her phone and said, "Just this bar downtown. You probably don't know it." Then she quickly changed the subject. That, "you probably don't know it," stuck with me. I mean, sure, maybe I didn't, but why sound so defensive? 2 days later, I overheard her on the phone in the kitchen, laughing in that way she only did when she was talking to her best friend, Mariah. I wasn't eavesdropping, just grabbing something from the fridge. But I heard her say, "No, he's not coming. I told him it's just us girls." Don't make it awkward. That one hit different. It wasn't what she said, it was how she said it. Like I was some burden to manage, not the boyfriend she supposedly adored. Later that night, I brought it up gently. I said, "Hey, I heard you talking to Mariah earlier. You sure you don't want me to swing by the party later? I could at least drive you guys home." She laughed, a little too loudly, and said, "Oh my God, babe, Don't be clingy. It's one night. Let me just have fun with my girls, okay? That word again. Clingy. It stung. I'd never once tried to control who she hung out with or where she went. If anything, I was the opposite, the easygoing guy who trusted too much. I told myself I was overthinking, that it was fine, that she'd earned her night out. But then she started acting like she was hiding something. Her phone never left her hand. She turned off her notifications, changed her lock screen, even started showering with her phone in the bathroom, something she'd never done before. When I'd ask what was up, she'd roll her eyes and say, "You're being paranoid. It's just my group chat blowing up about the party. We're trying to figure out outfits and stuff." Fine. I believed her. Or maybe I just wanted to. The night before her birthday, she stayed up late, finalizing plans. I fell asleep on the couch waiting for her. When I woke up, her laptop was still open on the coffee table. The screen was dark, but one notification from Messenger had popped up, a name I didn't recognize. Ryan. The message preview read, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow." My stomach dropped. I stared at it for a long time, debating whether to scroll or click or throw her laptop out the window. In the end, I did nothing. I closed the lid and went to bed. The next morning, she acted like nothing was off. She kissed me goodbye, said she'd text when she got home. She looked beautiful, too. Hair done perfectly, new dress, fresh nails. She smelled like jasmine and confidence. And as she walked out the door, all I could think was, she'd never looked that good just for her girls. Still, I told myself to trust her. Because that's what love does. It makes you lie to yourself just a little longer than you should. Sophie's birthday night came and went without a single text. Not a heading out now. Not a love you. Not even a drunk, miss you message, which she always sent on girls' nights, usually followed by a blurry selfie and a heart emoji. Nothing. I stayed home that night. I'd picked up a bottle of wine, planned to watch a movie, maybe send her a "hope you're having fun" text before bed. But as the hours dragged on, the silence started to feel heavier than it should. At around 11:30, I sent her a message. "Hope you're having a great birthday. Love you." It stayed undelivered. I told myself she was probably dancing, phone in her purse, not thinking about it. But when I went to bed at 1 a.m. and still hadn't heard anything, I couldn't shake this cold feeling that something was off. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing, notifications from Instagram. I wasn't even planning to check them, but one name caught my eye. At Mariah_T had tagged Sophie in a story. My chest tightened. I opened Instagram. The first clip was harmless. Sophie at a table surrounded by her friends, balloons in the background, laughing. I smiled despite myself. She looked happy, genuinely happy. The next story was a boomerang of them clinking glasses. The caption, "Birthday, Queen clinking glasses sparkles #girls night." I almost swiped away. Almost. But then I saw the next tag. It wasn't from Mariah. It was from some guy I didn't recognize. I tapped it. The story was from a bar I didn't know, one downtown where Sophie and I had gone for a date night a few months back. I remember because she said she didn't like the vibe there. Now she was there again, wearing the same dress she'd left the house in. But this time, she wasn't sitting with her girlfriends. She was sitting on some guy's lap. His hand was around her waist. Her head was tilted back, laughing. He was whispering something in her ear. And the caption, the one that made my stomach flip, read, "The birthday girl deserves to feel special." I stared at it for a long time. The sounds around me went flat, like the world had been put on mute. I clicked through the rest of the photos, each one worse than the last. A shot of them dancing, her hand on his chest. Another of her feeding him a piece of cake. Both of them laughing like some sick parody of the plans I'd been making for weeks. Every second I looked, I felt something in me unravel. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was numb, like my brain couldn't process what my eyes were seeing. The phone buzzed again, another tag, another photo. This one from one of her friends, captioned, "Girls' night got wild." And there she was again, same guy, same hand on her hip. Girls' night. I sat there on the couch, phone in hand, staring at the woman I thought I knew and realizing that maybe I'd just been dating a really good actress. For a while, I did nothing. No messages, no calls. I didn't even unfollow her. I just sat there, scrolling through the proof of everything I didn't want to believe. There's a kind of quiet that hits you when someone betrays you like that. Not explosive, not loud. Just empty. It wasn't until later that afternoon when one of my buddies texted me, "Bro, is this your girl?" and sent me the same picture. That's when it clicked. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't bad angles or he's just a friend. She had gone out of her way to exclude me from her own birthday so she could spend it with someone else. And the whole world had just watched her do it. I didn't text her. I didn't call. For the first time in our relationship, I went completely silent. Because I realized something. If she wanted to party like she was single, then she was about to find out what that really meant. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was angry, at least not in the way people expect. There was no yelling, no smashing plates, no scrolling through her photos like a lunatic trying to decode what went wrong. It was more like my brain had short-circuited. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that image of her sitting on his lap. The way her hand rested on his shoulder, casual, familiar, like she'd done it 100 times. Like she belonged there. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling until morning light hit the blinds. By then, something in me had gone cold. When betrayal hits you that hard, it's like grief. You go through stages. The disbelief, the hurt, the confusion. Then comes the part no one warns you about, the clarity. That morning, I woke up in clarity. I made coffee, sat on the couch, and opened Instagram again. The posts were still up, still public, still mocking me with their perfect lighting and fake captions. One of her friends had even commented, "You two are so cute." I almost laughed. Cute. Sure. Around noon, Sophie finally texted. "Sophie, hey babe. Sorry I passed out last night. Crazy night, lol. I'll call you later." I stared at it for a long time. That was the message she sent me. After that, no guilt, no hesitation, just a casual LOL. And that's when it hit me. She didn't even feel bad. She thought she'd gotten away with it. That, more than anything, flipped a switch in me. I didn't text back. I didn't block her. I didn't rage. I just started thinking. I thought about how much effort I'd put into her birthday every year. How I'd stayed up late the night before wrapping gifts, baking her favorite lemon cake, surprising her at work with flowers. And now she had told me, not asked, told me, that she wanted to celebrate just with the girls. Only it wasn't just the girls, was it? It was her and him. That realization didn't make me want to scream. It made me want to show her exactly what she'd thrown away, in a way she'd never forget. If she wanted to play games in public, I'd let the truth play out in public too. But not through shouting, or posting, or childish drama. No, she wanted a show. I'd give her one, calm, elegant, and devastating. I started by saving every photo and video I could find from that night. Screenshots, tags, timestamps, everything. Then I thought about her party setup. It had been private, yes, but her friends weren't exactly subtle online. I figured out the bar's location from one of the stories and realized something else. She'd never said I couldn't show up. She'd only said it was girls only. And that gave me an idea. If she didn't want me there as her boyfriend, fine. I wouldn't show up as her boyfriend. I'd show up as the guy delivering a gift. A gift she'd never be able to unwrap without remembering what she did. That's when the plan started forming in my head, not out of rage, but out of purpose. It wasn't about getting even. It was about ending things with absolute clarity, the same way she'd started her betrayal, publicly. She'd chosen the audience. I'd just chosen the finale. I spent the rest of that day in silence. No music, no TV, no calls. Just the quiet hum of my printer and the soft clicks of my mouse as I scrolled through every photo from her birthday. There she was, laughing with her friends, head thrown back, eyes shining. And then there she was again, on that guy's lap, lips close to his ear. The contrast was almost artistic. Each image felt like another nail sealing the coffin of who I thought she was. I saved them all. Cropped, adjusted, printed. High quality, glossy paper. No grain, no blur. If I was going to do this, it had to look deliberate, not petty. Clean. Precise. Then I drove to a craft store. I remember the woman at the register asking, "Special occasion?" when I picked out a beautiful white gift box and a silver-rimmed picture frame. "Yeah," I said. "You could say that." Back home, I laid everything out on the dining table like I was assembling something sacred. I picked 6 photos, the smiling selfies, the toasts, and, in the center, the one that started it all, her sitting on his lap. I arranged them in a collage, almost like a timeline of the night. and wrote one caption across the bottom in black ink. The night you said you needed time with just the girls. Then I slid the collage into the frame and sealed the back. It looked beautiful, actually, like something you'd hang in a living room if you didn't know what it really was. For the finishing touch, I wrapped it carefully, silver paper, white ribbon, clean edges. The kind of wrapping that says someone cared. On the little gift tag, I wrote, "For Sophie, the memories you made mean everything to me." I stared at that line for a while. It wasn't sarcasm. It was true. Those memories did mean something. Not because they were good, but because they finally showed me the truth. Then I started thinking about the delivery. I didn't want a scene. No shouting, no table flipping, no drinks thrown. That's not who I am. I wanted her to feel that sharp, slow humiliation, the kind that sinks in only when everyone around you realizes what you've done. She'd spent the past night surrounded by her friends, laughing, pretending to be the perfect birthday girl. She wanted an audience for her performance, so I'd give her one for the encore. That night, I found out through one of her friends' stories that they were doing a birthday dinner round 2 at the same bar. Same crowd, same energy. Perfect. I showered, shaved, and dressed like I was going on a date. Clean white shirt, dark jeans, polished shoes. Nothing over the top, just composed. As I looked in the mirror before leaving, I realized something. I didn't look heartbroken anymore. I looked calm, and that calm scared me a little. I grabbed the gift box, took one last look at it, and whispered, more to myself than to her, "Happy birthday, Sophie." Then I walked out the door. The restaurant was already buzzing when I arrived. That low hum of laughter and clinking glasses that only happens when people feel safe in their little bubble. Sophie's bubble. I spotted her right away, sitting at a long table near the back, surrounded by friends. She looked radiant, glowing even, hair done up, gold hoops catching the light. And sitting next to her, of course, was him. The same guy from the photos. When her eyes met mine, the smile froze on her face. She blinked like she couldn't process what she was seeing. I walked straight toward her, calm, steady, the silver gift box tucked under my arm. Her friends turned as I approached. You could feel the collective confusion, the tension you could slice with a butter knife. "Hey," I said softly, smiling like nothing was wrong. "Sorry I couldn't make it last night, but I didn't want your birthday to pass without giving you this." I placed the box right in front of her. She stared at it like it might explode. The guy, the one from the photos, gave a small, awkward grin. Man, I think you've got the wrong." "No," I said, still smiling. "I don't." Sophie's hands were shaking when she pulled the ribbon loose. The table had gone silent. Even the music seemed to dim. She lifted the lid. Then she saw the frame. Her expression collapsed. A flash of confusion, then horror. Her friends leaned in instinctively, curious, and then they saw it too. The collage. Her sitting on his lap. Her girls' only night, exposed in perfect high resolution. The silence that followed was absolute. One of her friends actually gasped. Someone else muttered, "Oh my God." Sophie's voice came out thin and trembling. You went through my Instagram?" I tilted my head. "No, you posted it publicly. I just thought you'd want to remember the night you said you didn't want to spend time with your boyfriend." Her face went red, not angry red, but caught red. The guy shifted uncomfortably. "Hey, bro, that's not. Don't." I cut in. "You don't get to bro me. You knew exactly who I was." The whole table just stared. Nobody defended her. Nobody said a word. I wasn't shouting. I wasn't crying. I was just standing there, calm, in control, and that made it worse for her. Much worse. I nodded once, politely, and said, "Anyway, happy birthday, Sophie. Hope it was worth it." Then I turned around and walked out. The sound of whispered chaos followed me. Her voice cracking, her friends murmuring, the guy mumbling excuses. I didn't look back. Outside, the night air felt cold and clean. I finally exhaled, really exhaled, for the first time since I'd seen that post. It was over, or so I thought. The next morning, I woke up to what can only be described as digital fireworks. My phone was exploding with messages. Not from Sophie, at least, not yet, but from mutual friends. Screenshots, group chats. Apparently, someone at that dinner had filmed the whole thing and posted it. The video had already spread, first among her friend group, then beyond. The caption was brutal. "When your girls only trip wasn't that girls only." Hashtag caught, By noon, her birthday post was gone. Her account went private. People were commenting things like, "Wait, is this about Sophie? No way she actually cheated?" And then, finally, the message came through. "Sophie, I can't believe you humiliated me like that. You're sick." I stared at the text for a moment, then typed back, "You told me not to be a clingy boyfriend. So I stopped being a boyfriend. You said it yourself." No response. A few hours later, her best friend, the one who'd once told me, "You're lucky to have her," DM'd me. For what it's worth, she's been crying all day. Everyone's talking. She's trying to say it was just a misunderstanding, but nobody's buying it. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about truth, and the truth was finally loud enough that I didn't have to shout. A week later, I changed my relationship status to single. Within an hour, she texted again. "Sophie, why is your status single?" I almost laughed out loud. I typed slowly, savoring every word. "Because you told me not to act like your boyfriend. I'm just honoring your request." And then I blocked her. No drama. No final speech. Just silence. The kind that says you're done here. Since then, I've kept that silver frame on a shelf in my apartment. Not as a trophy, not out of bitterness. Just as a reminder. A reminder that when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And if they tell you not to act like their boyfriend, you listen. You stop acting like one. Completely. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.